If you are a United States citizen or a lawful permanent resident, LPR, and you want to petition for your spouse, parent, child, or sibling to join you in the United States, you must file Form I-130, Petition for Alien Relative, with U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS. Form I-130 is a critical document in the family-based immigration process, and it is essential to understand the requirements and procedures for filing it. In this video, we will discuss Form I-130, its purpose, who is eligible to file it, and the necessary steps for filing it. Purpose of Form I-130. Form I-130 is used by a U.S. citizen or LPR to establish the relationship between themselves and their foreign-born relative, who wishes to immigrate to the United States. The purpose of the form is to demonstrate that the petitioner is a qualified relative of the beneficiary, and that they are eligible to sponsor the beneficiary's immigration to the United States. Who can file Form I-130? As mentioned earlier, a U.S. citizen or an LPR can file Form I-130 to petition for their spouse, parent, child, or sibling. However, the eligibility requirements differ for each category of beneficiary. Spouses. A U.S. citizen can petition for their spouse using Form I-130, and there is no limit to the number of spousal petitions that can be filed. In contrast, an LPR can only file a spousal petition if their spouse is in the United States and entered legally. Parents. A U.S. citizen can also file a petition for their parent using Form I-130, but they must be at least 21 years old to do so. There is no limit to the number of parental petitions that can be filed. Children. A U.S. citizen can file a petition for their unmarried children under the age of 21, while an LPR can file a petition for their unmarried children under the age of 21, or their unmarried children over the age of 21. Siblings. Only U.S. citizens can file a petition for their siblings using Form I-130. Steps for filing Form I-130. Now that we have discussed the purpose of Form I-130 and who is eligible to file it, let's go over the necessary steps for filing the form. Step 1. Gather required documentation. Before you can begin filling out Form I-130, you must gather the necessary documentation, including proof of your U.S. citizenship or LPR status, a copy of your birth certificate, a copy of your marriage certificate, if filing for a spouse, a copy of your child's birth certificate, if filing for a child, a copy of your sibling's birth certificate, if filing for a sibling, a copy of your parent's birth certificate, if filing for a parent. Evidence of any legal name changes. Step 2. Fill out Form I-130. Once you have gathered all the required documentation, you can begin filling out Form I-130. The form is available online on the USCIS website, and you can complete it electronically or by hand. Make sure to fill out all the required fields and double-check your information for accuracy. Step 3. Pay the filing fee. After completing Form I-130, you must pay the filing fee. The fee varies depending on the category of beneficiary and whether you are a U.S. citizen or an LPR. You can find the current fee schedule on the USCIS website. Step 4. Submit the form and documentation. After completing Form I-130 and paying the filing fee, you must submit the form and documentation to USCIS. You can submit the form and documentation by mail or electronically through the USCIS website. Make sure to follow the instructions carefully and include all the required documentation. USCIS will not accept incomplete or incorrect applications. Step 5. Wait for USCIS to process your petition. After submitting your petition, you must wait for USCIS to process it. USCIS will review your petition and the accompanying documentation to verify your eligibility to sponsor your relative's immigration. If USCIS approves your petition, it will be forwarded to the National Visa Center, NVC, for further processing. Step 6. Complete further processing with the NVC. The NVC will process your petition and request additional documentation, such as a copy of the beneficiary's passport and birth certificate. They will also collect fees for the visa application and processing. Once all the documentation is received and the fees are paid, the NVC will schedule an interview for the beneficiary at the U.S. Embassy or consulate in their home country. Step 7. Attend the visa interview. The beneficiary must attend the visa interview at the U.S. Embassy or consulate in their home country. During the interview, the consular officer will review the beneficiary's application and supporting documentation, and determine whether they are eligible for the requested visa. If approved, the beneficiary will receive their visa, allowing them to enter the United States and join their U.S. citizen or LPR sponsor. Conclusion. Form I-130 is an essential document in the family-based immigration process. It allows U.S. citizens and LPRs to petition for their foreign-born relatives to join them in the United States. If you are a United States citizen or a lawful permanent resident, LPR, and you want to petition for your spouse, parent, child, or sibling to join you in the United States, you must file Form I-130